Hi, I'm Danielle, and you're watching Animalogic Second Nature.
When Meanie comes near, there is always trouble. She shakes her horns at any animal in her way.
The lives of herbivores are dangerous and full of stress. Predators on the prowl, battles for their role in society, and the constant search for food leaves them little time to relax.
Luckily, some of them have evolved tools to make their lives a bit easier. Headgear!
King could easily push his head through a fence or wall. However, the buffalo in captivity have forgotten their wild ways and do not realize their strength.
Horns and antlers are super useful tools that started out as single-purpose structures and quickly became vital to the survival of their species.
Horns and antlers were originally weapons for males to fight other males with, and to this day continues to be their main usage. But it has expanded to be a sort of symbol of success and power for these males.
Ungulates are the kings of horns and antlers.
Almost every species of ungulate has some sort of fighting apparatus on their head. Most large species, like moose and water buffalo, have large headgear, while smaller species, such as vampire deer, tend to have tusks or fangs instead.
But how did they get so big? That's a question that we're still looking for definitive answers to.
Growing up is a strange and exciting experience, full of pleasure, pain, and wonder. During this period, size increases, but the body is out of proportion. Head large, legs small.
One of the theories is that as primitive mammals got bigger, they began to use their head as a weapon. Their head, of course, was also getting bigger, and their skull started packing more of a punch. During combat, animals would stand side by side and hit each other on the head until one of them rolled over or gave up. Over time, thicker skulls and headgear developed as tools to win these fights, either by wrestling like deer or ramming like bighorn sheep.
At the same time, they became defensive weapons against predators.
Many thousands of years ago, our prehistoric ancestors were forced to protect themselves against the larger animals, even some of those that they later learned to use.
Lions had a new reason to worry about attacking a large buffalo, and they became display organs when females began favoring males with larger horns or antlers. Smaller ungulates tend to live in more dense forest, so it's more practical to have fangs than big headgear.
When fighting in close quarters in the dark, it's easier to use a knife than a baseball bat.
In more open environments, headgear now has two uses. One, to fight your enemies, and two, to win the fight before it even starts. In fights, usually the bigger guy with the bigger horns or antlers wins. But even in winning battles, there's a good chance of injuries.
The best case scenario is having headgear so big that it intimidates your rivals and prevents them from wanting to fight.
This creates open societies where hierarchies can be established with very little fighting.
But enough theory. Let's take a look at some of the coolest horns and antlers in the animal kingdom. First, the rammers.
The ibex has huge horns that can be up to 1 meter long. These mountain goats fight in perilous conditions where a bad step can lead to a lethal stumble. If you're an ibex in a fight, what you really want is for your rival to stumble down the mountain and never come back up. Its cousin, the markhor, aka the screwhorn, is also a mountain dweller, and its fights consist of getting the high ground and ramming its opponents down the hill. Males can weigh over 100 kilograms, and their horns can be up to 100 centimeters long. The North American bighorn sheep dwarfs the other rammers. Males, also known as rams, can weigh up to 230 kilograms, and their horns weigh as much as the rest of their bones combined. So it goes without saying, don't get into a headbutting match with a ram.
Moving on to the wrestlers, we have pretty much all the bovines and the ungulates with antlers.
Despite the stereotype, bulls don't chase after the color red or ram anything that moves. They actually prefer to grapple each other to the ground. The giant Deland has huge and tightly spiraled horns, which can be up to 120 centimeters long. These African badasses have never been domesticated, as they're too strong and temperamental for people to handle.
If they can fight off a lion, they can probably fight off a cowboy.
Buffaloes are also a tasty but dangerous meal to predators. Though they're relatively docile, their horns are long and sharp and can easily gore predators to death.
Some species can weigh up to a ton, so this is not an animal that you want to wrestle.
Buffalo are not tame and do not make good pets. They cannot be trusted because you never know what they will do.
Among domestic breeds, the coolest one is the Ankole-Watusi, whose horns are about 1 meter in circumference. They keep growing throughout their life and can get to over 2 meters long.
The two main differences between horns and antlers are that horns have a keratin sheath and antlers are made entirely out of bone, but also, horns are permanent and antlers shed every year.
Among the coolest antlers, we have the moose and the red deer. Moose have palm leaf-shaped antlers. In some subspecies, they can be up to 1.8 meters across. They help them show off their strength, fight predators and foes, and possibly work as a parabolic antenna to help them hear better. Each winter, they shed their antlers, as they're big, heavy, and radiate a lot of heat, so they're a major inconvenience. During the spring, they start growing again at an incredible 20 centimeters a week.
It's one of the fastest growing animal tissues on Earth.
Red deer have twig-like antlers. They're not as massive as mooses, at just over 1 meter long, but they get a special mention for growing at about 2.5 centimeters a day. So, they can grow their huge set in just over a month, just in time for the mating season.
Ungulates are not the only horned animals. Among reptiles, there's a number of predators with really impressive headgear.
Most desert horned vipers have horns, but not all of them. Even within one litter, some are born with horns and others with just a big brow. Nobody is sure why they have these structures, but they seem to be either for eye protection, as camouflage, or as tools to break the outline of their heads. Some chameleons, such as the Jackson chameleon and the four-horn chameleon, have horns, which are apparently used to defend territory. Just like ungulates, having big horns is a good sign that they're not to be messed with.
Finally, we have insects. Though there are many species with head protrusions, I want to focus on two of my favorite horn wrestlers.
Rough and tumble is right. It's every man for himself.
Some large beetles, such as the Atlas, Hercules, and rhino beetles, have horns as long as their whole body, and they use them to wrestle challengers off branches. These are some of the largest beetles in the world, and also the strongest fighters.
The rainbow scarab is one of the coolest looking beetles in the world.
They have an amazing iridescent metal sheen and a big ol' horn to fight each other. If they look a bit familiar, it's because we've talked about their family before. These are dung beetles, and when they usually fight for access to the freshest pile of poo.
Delightful.
The past couple of months have been difficult for most of us. We're anxious about our health, our jobs, our relationships, and we're isolated from friends and family. In times like these, it's essential to take care of your mental health, and that's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp is a service where you can receive licensed counseling and therapy from certified therapists 24 hours a day. You can talk to them via video calls, phone calls, or even text messages. To get started, you fill out a questionnaire to get matched with the best therapist for your needs. Whether you're looking to talk about a problem you're facing or want to learn in a group setting about topics such as overcoming anxiety, BetterHelp is here for you. I've been using BetterHelp to try and tackle some personal problems, and it's been a really positive experience. My therapist has been amazing, professional and knowledgeable, and has really helped me deal with some personal things I've been going through. The group seminars also help me see things from a different angle. Especially in times like this, I really think everybody would benefit from talking to someone. When you live alone like me, and only have your cat to talk to, it definitely is worth reaching out. BetterHelp is available worldwide for $65 per week, with financial aid available to those who qualify. We want to note that BetterHelp isn't a crisis line. We've included a link in the description for crisis resources in case you ever need them. There's no better time to conquer your anxieties. You deserve BetterHelp.
So what should I talk about next? Please let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe for new episodes every week. Thanks for watching!